Happy 811 Day. I'm Ann Diamond, president of Underground Service Alert of Southern California, or DIG Alert, or USA South, or USAS, or USASSC, or Underground Service Alert. As Shakespeare said, what's in a name? That which we contact before we dig would still be the communications link between excavators and owners of underground lines. Want to make sure that everything is set up so that you can hear clearly, you can see the webinar. We will be answering questions throughout the webinar. Use the chat, raise hand, or Q&A located in the menu bar to ask your questions. And this webinar is being recorded. This morning, we will give a little history about DIG Alert, go over why you are members of Underground Service Alert. It's the law. What your responsibilities are as a member, and consequences of not fulfilling those responsibilities. Since it's 811 Day, we are giving you a chance to win a DIG Alert t-shirt. To enter, text 344-258, which is also DIGALT, the word safe, a space, the word win, a space, your first name, a space, and a last name. Data charges may apply, and winners will be selected at the end of the webinar. In June of 1976, a Standard Oil line was struck during an excavation where 9 people died. Underground Service Alert of Southern California started with just Orange County in September of 1976. And 4216 was added to the government code in 1983. DIG Alert now serves over 900 utility operators in 9 Southern California counties. Did you know that DIG Alert member codes originally had a number showing what number they were when they joined USA? We obviously had to stop that because with over 900 members, once we hit 100, we had to change our methodology because back then our computer system only allowed for 6 characters. At the time, we didn't think we were going to get over 100 members. Also, when 4216 was first introduced, the only entity that was exempt was Caltrans. DIG Alert's mission is to ensure safety of excavation works and the general public by preventing damage to underground infrastructure through advocacy, education, and the operation of an effective, efficient communications link between excavators and owners of underground infrastructure. I will now turn the presentation over to Amber Dahl, the Center's Safety Awareness Director. Amber?
Thank you, Ann. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to 811's Member Town Hall webinar. I hope everyone as a member is celebrating 811 Day. Here at DIG Alert, our vice president we have a habit trailer outside, and DIG Alert is providing free lunches for all our staff on 811 Day. Since this is a member town hall meeting, the first one that DIG Alert has hosted, we want to make sure that you guys understand what a member is, who is required to be a member, and why. So the first thing we want to review is the definition of what is a subsurface installation. A subsurface installation is defined in the California Government Code as any underground pipeline, conduit, duct, wire, or any other structure except for non-pressurized utility lines, which does include non-pressurized sewer, non-pressurized storm, or other non-pressurized drain lines. With that being said, the definition of an operator means any person, entity, partnership, public agency that owns and maintains a subsurface installation has to become a member of DIGALERT. Every operator of a subsurface installation, except still, of course, Caltrans is exempt, is required to participate and share in the cost of the Regional Notification Center here in Southern California, that is DIGALERT. And
Thank you, Amber. I am going to stop here for a second and get everybody involved. I'm going to ask a couple of questions. The first question is, how did you hear about the 811 Day Member Town Hall? Was it through Constant Contact or was it by an email that we sent? How did you hear about our town hall today? We like to know what's working. Constant Contact or email? Not that Constant Contact isn't an email. All right. Well, it looks like the majority of you responded to the email, and that kind of makes sense because when we sent out the Constant Contact, we only had about 10 people sign up. But when we sent the reminder on August 1st through email, we got a whole lot more. All right. I have one more question for now. Do you use the free DIGALERT app? Yes, no, or I didn't know DIGALERT has an app. Do you have or do you use the free DIGALERT app? Yes, no, or I didn't know DIGALERT has an app. All right. Well, I'm glad that the majority of you said yes. However, those that said no and those that said, I didn't know DIGALERT has an app, now you do. And while it has information for excavators, owner operators can be excavators as well, it does have access to posting of your electronic positive response. It has access to enforcement ticket assistant, ETA. So if you're out in the field, marking and you see somebody digging, you can check and see if they have a ticket. Among other things, you have a link to the law. The app is great, it's free. All right, that's all the questions I'm going to ask for now. All right. One of the things that Amber mentioned was that members have to, of Underground Service Alert, Regional Notification Center, have to share in the cost of the Regional Notification Center. It's in the law. DIGALERT charges for every new ticket that each member receives, not just tickets where the operator is doing the work. We send invoices the first of every month for all new tickets received in the prior month. All operators have to remain in good standing per our bylaws and also our operating procedures. A member in good standing means that you have paid your invoice within 90 to 135 days. After that, you are no longer a member in good standing and can end up being terminated if you don't. If an operator has failed to become a member or participate in or share in the costs, you forfeit your claims for damages. Also, owners of underground lines, we kind of interchange the words between owners of underground lines and operators, because it's an operator owner of underground substructure. Those operators who receive 500 or more new tickets in the previous calendar year are subject to Underground Safety Board fees. I'm now going to introduce you to Nancy Ceja, in our member services. Nancy?
Hi, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. I am the person that contacts you, or that you can contact to maintain and update your current contact information. We are looking for information in regards to billing, design, any problems receiving dig alerts from us, any emergencies during working hours and after hours, for no responses, like when you don't show up and mark the lines, and requests for permission to utilize vacuum equipment, and also for main contact. The main contact is a person receiving correspondence from us, so that's very important. You're able to update your request by logging into your member user account. You have to update your requests annually, or as things change on your side. So it's very important to keep everything, all your contacts updated for us to be able to contact you, and also any excavators.
We're now going to show you a video of how easy it is to update your information. Sorry about that. I think there was a issue with the audio.
Updating member contact information. First, navigate to digalert.org. On the navigation bar, click Members, then click Member Login. Log into your member account if you have not done so already. If you need assistance with your login information, please contact Member Services at digalert.org. On your Newton menu, under Maintenance and then Contacts, click Member Update Request Form. Here, you will see a drop-down of member codes associated with your account. Select which member codes for which you want to change the contact information for. If you wish to see all contacts associated with that member code, leave the contact type as Display Current Contacts, and then click the Select button. When ready, select the member code and contact type you wish to update. Here, you will see the contact update form complete with the fields you may change alongside their current set value. Go ahead and make your changes now. If you wish to apply these changes for all of your associated member codes for your selected contact type, tick the checkbox to request these changes be applied globally. When you are ready to submit your changes, click Request Change. Verify the changes you will be requesting, and then click Confirm to submit your request. Your update request is now pending and will be updated once processed by our team. And you're done. Submitting electronic positive responses manually.
There are many ways that DigAlert reaches out to its members. We use constant contact and email to send important information about upcoming webinars, our annual meetings, changes in the law, and other things. So please make sure you allow those methods to receive communications from DigAlert. We really do keep our notifications to a minimum. The notifications we have no control over are tickets about proposed excavations. And this slide, if you can make sure that you whitelist by IP address or email address. Also, be sure if changes are done on your system that you allow these IP addresses to come through. We also use social media for outreach. DigAlert's going to turn 50 in just 3 years. And you don't want to miss out on by not having good contact information, because we're planning on having some pretty big things going on. So you've learned about how to update your contact information, and I've talked about the thing that we don't have any control over is the number of tickets that you receive. But it might be that you're receiving too many tickets because you haven't updated your shape files lately. I'm going to turn it back to Nancy to discuss that.
So updating your shape files must be submitted in NAT83 or WSG84 data with coordinate reference systems of latitude, longitude. Your files must contain valid data. Shapefile update reminders are sent annually to all our members. Shapefiles updates must be full replacements of the entire notification areas. We cannot do add-ons. It has to be a full replacement of what you currently have. And also maintaining your shapefiles may reduce or increase monthly costs. So you want to take a look at your shapefiles, what you currently have, and that's also available by logging into your member user account. And if anybody has any questions in regards to your login credentials, you can email member services at digalert.org, and I am able to provide that for you.
We also have another quick video on how easy it is to upload your shapefiles.
Upload shapefiles. First, navigate to digalert.org. On the navigation bar, click Members, then click Upload Shapefiles. Here, you will be taken to the form to upload your shapefiles for your notification area. First, fill out your name, then fill out your company name, enter and confirm your email address, next, enter the member codes that your new shapefiles will affect. Select the counties that these shapefiles will cover from the list provided. Select whether your shapefiles will be uploaded with or without a buffer. If your shapefiles are already buffered, click Buffered. Otherwise, click Unbuffered and provide the amount of buffer to apply and feed with a minimum of 50. Tick the checkbox to acknowledge that this shapefile upload will be a full replacement of your notification area. Next, select when you would like these shapefiles to take effect, either upon import or at a future date and time. If at a future date and time, provide that in the input below. Select your shapefiles that have been compressed into a zip file to upload. Add any additional notes or comments. And when you are ready, click Submit. Your shapefiles have been uploaded and is now pending and will be processed by our team. And you're done.
All right, we have I saw a couple of questions. One of them was how do I text to win a t-shirt? We will have this slide a couple more times throughout. A gentleman is getting a 401 error message when logging in. I'm not sure how to do that. Usually a 401 is some type of firewall, doesn't allow. And how to get a shapefile. I'm not exactly sure. Nancy, do we have a way in which someone can create a shapefile?
Shapefiles are normally, you are able to get your shapefiles by contacting your IG department. I know there's some free IG services out there. I'm not quite sure what they are at the moment, but that's how they're done.
Okay. I also have someone with their hand up. Robert, I'm going to allow you to talk. Did you have a question? Go ahead and unmute yourself. Okay. May have just been to let us know that they were. Will we be able to see this meeting again to look back at info and share with others? Yes, since it is being recorded, we will have it on our YouTube channel later this afternoon. And the video snippets will also be available on our YouTube channel to be able to, go through the steps on how to update your contact information and your shapefiles. Also, the presentation will be available in a PDF. If you would like that, you can email amber@digalert.org. Nancy, I'm going to throw this one back to you real quick. Is the shapefile a Google Earth map?
It is not. It's you are able to export it from there, but it is not a Google or Earthman.
All right. I'm now going to turn it over to Amber, who's going to go over some of the your member responsibilities.
Okay, so as a owner operator who is a member of Diggler that owns and maintains underground substructures as defined by the California Government Code, as previously stated, what are members' responsibilities? Well, one of the most important responsibilities, other than to be a member, is you are required to respond to every new Diggler ticket that you receive. And one of those ways you must respond is if you are in conflict with, and if you are in conflict, you are required to locate and field mark, which means to indicate the existence of any owned or maintained subsurface installations within the delineated excavation area. You are required to mark in the APWA color code, the American Public Works color code. Gas, oil, and steam should be marking in yellow. Electric should be marking in red. Communication lines should be marked in orange. Water should be marked in blue. Sewer and drain should be marked in green. And any reclaimed water or irrigation should be marked in purple. It is also part of the responsibility of the owner operators to mark and follow the guidelines for the operator facility field delineations of the best practice guide of the Common Ground Alliance. Diggler does provide not only the California Government Code 4216 booklets, but if you flip it around, the excavation guidelines or excavation handbook rather, that has these best practices in them. There are more than what I'm going to provide you. Can you go back, Ann, please? I'm not done. So you want to mark in the appropriate APWA color code. You also want to provide the names or initials or abbreviations with your APWA markings. If there are multiple water companies, for example, you want to make sure that the excavator is aware that your blue marking is for your company. You are also required to provide the total number of subsurface installations and the width of each facility. When you provide the width or the diameter of the pipe, the excavator must hand dig 24 inches of either side of that marked facility if you provide a single line, or the exterior of the pipe. So providing the diameter of your subsurface installation will increase the 24-inch tolerance zone. Also, you want to provide information to the excavator as the type of facility. Is it HP for high priority? STL for steel? You want to PLS for plastic. Provide as much information to the excavator at, with your markings as much as possible, and if known. Now, do not mark depths. You excavators are not, utility companies should not be providing the depths. It is not accurate enough for excavators, that it's not even accurate enough to mark the parallel path. That's why there's a 24-inch tolerance zone of either side of those marked facilities. Also, you must mark before the legal excavation start date and time, unless the excavator agrees that you can to a later start date and time that they originally provided on their dig alert ticket, which is a legal document. You must locate and field mark within the delineated area of the excavation. I always recommend my excavators to ask for offsets, and you may also want to provide offsets outside of the delineated area to eliminate responding back to the job site when the marks become no longer reasonably visible. You are also required to provide active information to the excavator of active or inactive subsurface installation. And if there is no conflict, meaning you have no subsurface installations in the area, in the delineated area of the excavation, you have to notify that excavator that there is no conflict. Now, who is required to do this? Every member who receives a Dig Alert ticket must respond and locate any facilities within the delineated excavation area. But who does that? Well, the California Government Code states specifically that only a qualified person can perform subsurface installation locating activities. And what does that mean? What is a qualified person? Well, a qualified person does have to complete a training program with the requirements of Section 1509 of Title 8 of the California Code of Regulations Injury and Illness Prevention Program. And it must meet the minimum locator training guidelines and the practice published in the most recent version of the best practices. A qualified person performing subsurface installation locating activities on behalf of an operator, like a line locating contracting company, they have to use a minimum of a single frequency utility locating device, and they also shall have to have access to alternative sources of verification if it is necessary. Now, keep in mind, Cal OSHA Title 8, Section 1510 requires employers that assign an employee to handle heavy equipment must be qualified. Heavy equipment must be qualified, and you can visit Cal OSHA website for further information on that. Operators, you still have more responsibility. You also have to mark newly installed subsurface installations. Especially if it's within a continuing excavation activity. If you are aware of abandoned lines, you are required to provide that information to the excavator by marking in your appropriate APWA color code the letter A within a circle, communicating to the excavator that there is a known abandoned line in the area. Now, a lot of utilities, I tell my excavators that A within a circle does not give you the approximate location. It's just advising that the owner operators are aware that there are abandoned lines in the area and that they are communicating with the excavator that there are known abandoned lines. If you are aware of subsurface installations embedded or partially embedded in the pavement, you must advise that to the excavator. You do need to amend, update, maintain, and preserve all plans and records for all your subsurface installations. Back in the day, if you didn't have maps, it is what it is. You didn't have maps. Well, that has changed. You now have to amend, update, and maintain and preserve all those maps of those underground substructures. And all new subsurface installations shall be mapped using a GIS and maintained as a permanent record. Now, high priority lines. What is a high priority line? Well, the California Government Code defines a high priority line as a natural gas pipeline with a normal operating pressure greater than 60 PSI, your petroleum pipelines, pressurized sewer, your electrical supply lines, conductors or cables that have a potential to ground of greater than or equal to 60 kV, and any type of hazardous material. If you own and maintain a high priority line, you are required to have an on-site meeting. And if an excavator is digging within 10 feet of your high priority line, you are required to schedule an on-site meeting before the beginning of the start date and time of that excavation. And you can inform the excavator how they need to dig in or around that high priority line. Now, once you have determined if you've gone out to the job site and you marked for your facilities, or you've determined going to the job site there was no conflict, or if you're able to determine no conflict in your office. However you respond to every new ticket, you must post or document how you responded through the electronic positive response or EPR system through the DigAlert system. That's why Ann said to get our free app. You can actually do it on our free app. You can go to digalert.org, or you can go to your member login. And what this means is every single time you respond to a ticket, you must provide how you responded to that ticket through EPR. It could be area marked. It could be no conflict. If there are other reasons why you were unable to complete the ticket status, for example, if there was no access, or say the location was not delineated, you have to post that on the EPR, on electronic positive response, and you must do that before the legal start date and time of that excavation. And with that, I believe we're going to have a video on how to post your EP. Oh, wait, before the video, I'm going to return it back to Ann.
Thank you, Amber. There are different ways to provide your electronic positive response. A manual link on your ticket, no login is required. Manually via DigAlert's website or our app, a login is required. Automated via direct TCP connection, login is required. And automated via REST API, and a token is required. Logins and tokens are provided by DigAlert and need to be requested in writing at member services, at email to memberservices@digalert.org. And now we will do a video.
Submitting electronic positive responses manually. First, navigate to digalert.org. On the navigation bar, click Members, then click Post Electronic Positive Response. Log into your positive response account if you have not done so already. If you need assistance with your login information, please contact memberservices@digalert.org. On your Newton menu, under Maintenance and Positive Response, click Submit Positive Response. If you're allowed to respond to more than one member code, select the member code from the drop-down and click Refresh. If you're submitting responses by due date, click By Response Due. Otherwise, if you're responding to individual ticket numbers, you can enter up to 10 ticket numbers at a time. Enter the ticket numbers and then click Submit. The positive response form will appear for each ticket you will be responding to. Fill out the relevant information for each ticket, selecting the appropriate response code from the items listed below. When you are ready to respond, click the Submit button. A confirmation will appear showing the status of each ticket. If you have more tickets to respond to, click Submit and get back to the main form. Upload shape.
Now that was one way you can upload your EPR. If you have further questions on how you can do EPR post your EPR contact membership services at diggler.org. An excavator cannot begin their excavation until you have posted your electronic positive response through the Regional Notification Center. And just a heads up, we will be talking about consequences, but if you're not familiar with the Underground Safety Board, the Underground Safety Board, also known as USB, is actually the actual enforcement agency of the California Government Code 4216. And they have been sending notices of probable violations, NOPV letters, to owner-operators who have not been posting how they responded to every new Diggler ticket received. So you want to make sure you don't get those NOPV letters from the Underground Safety Board. Make sure you are posting your electronic positive response. Now we're going to go through what the different ticket types that Diggler has. And then after, we're going to go through what ticket types you must respond and how and so forth. So we have, this is in alphabetical order. So we have your amendment tickets. And amendment tickets, AMND, is for everything that is listed below other than what we're going to discuss future. So any members that need to respond, for example, correcting a ticket, adding more information, clarifying the location, etc. Prior to 2023, AMND was used for that. We are now using return trip tickets, which is new for 2023. But to update contact information, the on-site contact information that must be kept updated, that would be through an amendment ticket. Cancel tickets, CL, is when the ticket is being canceled. The only entity or the person that is able to cancel the ticket is the caller or the excavator themselves. Damaged line tickets, DMGE, is when the excavator states that there is a damaged line and that requests the utility members to respond. Sometimes that could be all utilities or just if they know what utility was actually damaged. Design tickets, DSGN, is not currently available at this time. It is for future use. However, these tickets will be used at a later time to determine, and this is hopefully to eliminate excavators submitting Diggler tickets with a start date in time within 14 calendar days for their planned excavation that are truly not a planned excavation. So we are working on that to help you owner operators. Exposed tickets, EXPD. This is when the excavator says there is an unmarked exposed line and requests the members to respond to identify that line. New tickets, NEW, is the new first time it's ever been submitted to advise you, the owner operators, of a planned excavation. The revision number for new tickets will always be 00A or 00B. Anytime a ticket is retransmitted for any reason whatsoever, it will go from 01A or 01B. And then if it's updated again, or if it's retransmitted again for whatever reason, it will show you those increments. NRSP is for no response tickets. You don't want no response tickets. These are the ones that the Underground Safety Board is sending notices of probable violations. And if you're not posting your electronic positive response, you are in violation of the California Government Code. So a no response ticket is when the excavator says that any or all of the utilities have failed to respond by the legal excavation start date and time. You want to make sure you have responded and then posted how you responded through the EPR system. Renew, RNEW. This is basically an excavator saying that they're still excavating and they must keep their Diggler tickets valid. Diggler tickets are valid for 28 calendar days. Remark, REMK, means that the excavator says that the utility field markings are no longer reasonably visible. This could be for just one utility owner operator or for all, and it does extend the ticket for another 28 calendar days. Your return trip ticket, RTRN. This is again new for 2023. And this is when the excavator says that they need anything else from the utility owner operators to respond back to the job site for any reason other than a damage, exposed, a no response, renewal, or remark. A return trip ticket will reset the legal start date and time. So when you get a RTRN ticket, notice that you have the legal minimum notification of 2 full working days, not including the date of notification, to return back to the job site or respond to their request. The next slide is going to show us the different types of tickets that we just reviewed. What they, the description, does it increase the revision? Does it extend the expiration date? What are the possible priorities? And if you're, as a member, if you're required to respond through EPR, and any notes. So going back through, ACMT is an account management, and it's added internal comments. So it's not really, it doesn't increase the revision. There's no expiration date. Possible priorities would be normal. It is not delivered to you. So this is really not probably we need to even discuss further. Amendment is basically when an excavator or the caller of that ticket updates their contact information, on-site contact information, which they are now required to do. It does increase the revision. Remember, it will go from a new ticket, it goes 00A or 00B. When we say increased revision, it will go from 01A or 01B, depending on what server it's coming from. An amendment ticket does not extend the expiration date. Depending on the amendment, it can go, the possible priorities could be considered a rush, short, normal, or an emergency. It is delivered to you as an owner operator. It does not require a response. So if a positive response is not required, if this amendment is sent before the original work date and time on the ticket or the legal notice, then the response due date time remains the same. If after the legal start date and time, it does not. Of course, a cancel ticket, pretty much we do send it as a rush to owner operator, so that way we can get to you before you actually go out to the job site if necessary or post the response. It is delivered to you and there's no other requirements. A damage ticket does increase the revision. It does not extend the expiration date of that ticket. It is sent as an emergency, which is higher than a rush. Emergency, we're sending that as soon as possible to you. It is, of course, delivered. It does not require a positive response because you're supposed to go out there ASAP. A design ticket is not active right now, so we'll go ahead and skip that. An exposed ticket does, of course, increase the revision. It does not extend the expiration date of that ticket. It is sent as a rush, not as an emergency, because it's not a damaged ticket. It's only exposed. It is, of course, delivered to you. It does not require a positive response. Now, of course, the new ticket, which we've been discussing, is going to be the original and revision, so it will be a 000. It does keep the expiration date available for 28 calendar days from the day it's submitted. Depending on the type of new ticket, it could be sent as a rush, short, norm, or an emergency ticket. It is, of course, delivered to you, and it does require a positive response by the start date and time of that ticket, or the legal minimum notification. A no response. Again, remember, we don't want no response tickets, or you don't want no response tickets. It does, of course, increase the revision. It does not extend the ticket. It's sent to you as a rush ticket, so it is sent to you. It does not require a positive response. Remark increases that means that the utility field markings are no longer reasonably visible. So of course, yes, it's going to increase the revision because it's not the original. It does not extend the expiration date. It's sent to you as a rush because you have 2 full working days, not including the date of notification to respond, to remark your facilities. So it is sent to you, but however, it does not require a positive response for a remark. A renewal is sent to you. It increases the revision, but there's nothing more for you to do. Because it's just the excavator saying, you know what, we're just still working out here. We're keeping our ticket valid. A return trip ticket. Oh, excuse me. I made a mistake and I do apologize. A remark does indicate that you do have to post your positive response. A return trip ticket does increase the revision. It, however, does not extend the expiration date of that ticket. It is normally sent as a normal ticket. And yes, you must post your positive response is required by the legal start date and time. Next slide, please. Oh, at this time, we're going to ask some questions, or if you guys have any questions, and I'll let Ann address those for us.
Thank you, Amber. All right, also giving everyone another chance to text to win. Okay, can private locators use the same color mark as an owner operator when they locate? There is nothing in the law that says that what color they can and can't. There is a group in California called the California Regional Common Ground Alliance, also known as CARGA, that has brought this idea up that private locators would use the same colors, but they would also note that they were a private locator somehow. That, like I say, is something that has been discussed. There isn't anything in a standard or law currently that addresses that. If a member fails to respond and mark utilities by the due date and you call DigAlert with a no response, does the member have an additional 72 hours to locate? No. As Amber noted, the Underground Safety Board is issuing notices of probable violation on members that do not respond through electronic positive response on the no responses. If a member has not, that member needs to get out there as soon as possible. They do not get the date of notification and 2 more working days in which to do that. We've noticed that some excavators are canceling tickets by entering notes on the ticket. However, the ticket priority does not change to cancel. Can these be considered as canceled, or do we still need to post a positive response? If so, can we use code 4, no markings requested? As Amber noted, on cancellations, those are done by the excavator, and we are really trying to encourage them to only cancel tickets before the work date and time. If it's after the work date and time, we tell them just let it expire. Just wait the 28 days. And then the ticket would no longer be valid. If I'm not exactly sure, because if they called it in as a cancel, it should be a cancel. But if they're just sending through an amendment and saying that the job is canceled, there isn't much we can do on that, although amendments don't require an electronic positive response on them. I hope that answered the question. Does DigAlert provide or recommend any utility training courses? No, we do not provide utility locating training. There are some companies across the United States that have those. We don't necessarily have any of those names. I can see if I can find some for you and provide that for you. All right. Back to you, Amber.
Okay, thank you. So we've gone through what's required as an owner operator and as a member of DigAlert. We do have like I stated, Underground Safety Board is the enforcement agency that enforces the California Government Code 4216 specifically. The California Government Code 4216 does state any excavator or an operator who negligently violates this article is subject to a civil penalty in the amount not to exceed up to $10,000. Also, an operator or excavator who knowingly and willfully violates any of the provisions of this article is subject to civil penalty not to exceed $50,000. An operator or excavator who, again, knowingly and willfully violates and it results in a damage to a gas or hazardous liquid pipeline, and that damage doesn't have to be an explosion. It doesn't have to be an escape of toxic or corrosive gas or liquid. It could be considered a dent, gouge, or a groove, which is defined, a damage is defined in the California Government Code. However, you can be fined up to $100,000. Before we go in a little further, I do want to extend Ann's comment in regards to if an owner operator fails to respond by the start date and time. It does say in the California Government Code that if an owner operator fails to comply with certain consequences, that they could be held liable to the excavator who has complied. And what that means that you cannot not just be held in violation of the California Government Code 4216. Oh, this is. Thank you, Ann. I didn't go further into this. Okay, so if you as an owner operator has failed to comply, and the operator can be held liable for damages to the excavator who has complied, which can include liquidated damage, liability, losses, cost, and any other expenses. So make sure as an owner operator that you comply, because the excavator could actually go back for you for their downtime, for example. So there are consequences as an operator. Also, if you mismark, if there isn't a damage to a subsurface installation due to an inaccurate field mark, a mismark, the excavator shall be the field marked by an operator. The excavator shall not mean that it's not that excavator's fault for the damage, replacement cost, or other expenses. And so what is a mismark or inaccurate field mark? That means a mark or set of markings that did not correctly indicate the approximate location of the subsurface installation within the delineated area. There also are other enforcement agencies. We all know those, right? You have the Attorney General, and these can be brought by several agencies, but you have the Attorney General, the District Attorney, the local state agency that issued any excavating permit, or the local governing board on local agencies under the governing board's jurisdiction. The California Underground Facility Safe Excavation Board is under the Energy Safety Department. Their website is energysafety.ca.gov. Not only is the California Underground Safety Board or Underground Safety Board the specific enforcement agency of the California Government Code, but they are developing excavation safety standards for the state of California. They're coordinating education and outreach programs. They're actually having a discussion regarding pothole, a webinar today at 10:30. If you're interested in that, email me at diglert.org, and I can forward you that information. And they are investigating incidences. Also, other agencies can either follow a recommendation from the Underground Safety Board, or they that the agency either shall accept. They can amend it, and they can also reject it. But other enforcement agencies include the Contractor State License Board, the PUC, and the Office of the State Fire Marshal. And they can enforce not only penalties but also fines. Here's the Underground Safety Board, like I said, is, for example, is having a webinar today regarding discussion on potholing. If you are interested, I highly recommend that you, if you're interested in keeping abreast of what the Underground Safety Board is doing, they have surveys, they have discussions, they have, their meetings where they discuss POV, the notice of probable violations and/or violations. What I recommend that you file for their e-filing systems. You can do that by going to their website, energysafety.ca.gov. I believe there's a link to join their e-filing systems, and what you will receive is emails communicating upcoming events of what the Underground Safety Board is doing. So that's highly recommended. Also, if you need more training or information, Diglert is hosting trying to do our due diligence in getting everything for you. We have a new Diglert training for our excavators and owner operators. You are too excavators. It's called Excavator Essentials. It features it goes more in depth on state laws, the 811 process, best practices, and even more. The training is perfect for both industry newcomers and seasonals. It is free, and just go to our website at diglert.org, and we have a banner on top. Just click enroll now. And this is done at your free time. We also have Diglert Direct, which creates tickets in a few easy steps. And Diglert Direct is the only way you can submit a Diglert ticket 24/7 every single day of the year. Users of Diglert Direct manage tickets, keep them organized and all in one place. It's really, really easy, and it's actually more convenient than calling 811, and it's free. Also, Diglert, as you know, now it has a free app. It has a lot of information on it at your fingertips, including the California law, color codes, vacuum and emergency contact info. You can check electronic positive response as a utility owner, operator, or member. You can post your positive response and do a lot more anytime, anywhere. If you want to learn just the basics of the 811 process, the 5 steps to a safer excavation, Diglert does host a free webinar every second Thursday of each month. It is virtual. If you're interested, you can go to our website at diglert.org under events, or you can email me, amber@diglert.org, and if our calendars align, I can actually come to you in person for a presentation. A plug for the 811 monthly virtual underground safety awareness webinars, though, is everyone receives a safety certificate that has attended, and we do keep logs on who has attended and how long. Every registered attendee receives a $10 Starbucks e-gift card, and every registered attendee is eligible for up to $100 Home Depot e-gift card. So if you're interested in any of this, just visit our website at diglert.org, and it's all at your fingertips. If you want to see this webinar, it will be posted later today, or there's other videos that you can view at our YouTube account. Go to youtube.com/@diglert/videos. If you do have questions about electronic positive response, how to update your contact information, shape files, and so forth, please contact Nancy. It's Member Services, that is plural, @diglert.org. If you have questions about your billing, please email invoices@digalert.org. If you have questions about 4216, the rules and regulations, want a safety presentation, or a PDF file of this webinar, please email me at amber@digalert.org. And with that, this will be your last chance to text and ask any questions. And with that, I'm going to say thank you, everyone. And have a great 811 day.
All right, thank you, Amber. We do have a few questions. And I don't know that we'll be able to answer them completely. The question is, if we have an unlocatable line, which we know is in the excavator's delineation, and communicate to the excavator that they need to pothole our mark to verify the location, can they refuse to pothole if their excavation is outside the tolerance zone of the operator's mark, but still in the excavator's delineation? Yes and no. An excavator needs to hand expose lines in conflict within that 24-inch tolerance zone. Even if it's within their delineation area, if they are not digging within that 24 inches either side of the markings that you have put down, they don't have to, because they're outside of that. However, one would probably want to, because sometimes lines jig and jag. If an operator does not provide timely marks, how can they be held liable for damages if this means that the excavator began to dig without receiving positive responses required? You can be held liable if the marks are not accurate. If you have not, you're right, an excavator has to have electronic positive response before they begin digging. Which is why we say we don't want to have people with no responses. Because how long is an excavator supposed to wait? How many times are they supposed to say that there's been no response? But the being held liable would be if you have not marked accurately. Why are callers given the option to put none under delineation method or area will be delineated by if we legally cannot locate our facilities without delineations present? The California Government Code says that operators may choose not to delineate or may choose not to mark if the area is not delineated. Now, there are some operators that absolutely will not mark unless there is delineation. There are others that will. What happens when an excavator does not find a marked facility and continues to dig and hits that facility outside the tolerance zone? If it's outside the tolerance zone, I don't want to call it a free hit, but that means that the operator did not accurately mark their facilities. And at that point, it becomes up to the lawyers to figure that out. We had an on-ticket response query. This was much more effective form of response from the field for EPR responses. I'm not exactly sure of this comment. I'm sorry. Amber? Any thoughts on this one?
The only thing I'm thinking of that might be an internal ticket management system within your own system. You had an on-ticket response query. Where was this response query from? I don't believe it was provided by Diggler Ticket. Jim may be able to answer that. I mean, we had Web Ticket TMS, but that is no longer available either. So I'm thinking it's in your internal ticket management system. Because if we want to go back to how you can input your EPR responses through Diggler,
And unless they're talking about the link that's on a ticket for doing electronic positive response, which is a really easy way to do that. You know, you receive your ticket on your phone, you go out, you do what you need to, and you just respond.
click on that link.
Yeah.
But-
Get access to that.
I don't know who it's already gone, but if he wants to clarify what, who was it, Robert? If you want to, can you clarify exactly what you mean by an on-ticket response query? Or otherwise, contact me at amber@diggler.org, or member services at diggler.org, and maybe we can answer your questions and maybe more have a discussion on exactly what it is you're trying to say or had or have. So Robert, if you wouldn't mind, contact Diggler.
All right, it is the time that nobody knew was going to be coming. Oh, we do have. Because we didn't say we were going to be giving away a couple of t-shirts. If your name is called out of my randomness of pulling these, please send your shirt size and your address that you would like those shirts sent to amber@diggler.org. And if you could do that by the end of today, that would be great, because then she'll be able to get them out into the mail
By
today.
3:30. And just to let you know, the Diggler shirts are black. They are not purple. This was just part of a better picture of the design that will be on the back of the Diggler shirt.
All right. And to encourage everyone on the what Amber was saying about the California Underground Safety Board, their webinar starts at 10:30. Please email Amber now. She will send you a link to that. They are going to be discussing pothole standards and talking about depth. All right, so we're going to give away 4 t-shirts today. And I apologize if I mispronounce your name. The first one goes to Jay Bobness. Our next one goes to Scott Hudson. Our next one goes to Steve Morelos. And our final one goes to Angel Holloway. Congratulations. And we would like to end this webinar reminding everyone that in the California Government Code, in section 4216.4D, each operator, excavator, or locator shall communicate with each other and respect the appropriate safety requirements and ongoing activities of the other parties. Dig safe. Thank you all for joining us. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. And I know I didn't give mine out, but if you do have questions, you can always contact me at Ann, A-N-N, at Digalert, DIGALERT.org. And if you want a t-shirt, email Amber, AMBER, @diglert.org. Thank you and have a happy 811 day.